This week's verse comes from one of the darkest books in the Bible, Lamentations. Lamentations is a collection of 5 poems that were written after Jerusalem fell to Babylon. That was around 587 BC. Jerusalem was burned, the temple destroyed, and many of God's people were deported into exile, just as the prophets had warned. What we are reading is scripture giving voice to grief, to confession, and theological wrestling after catastrophe. These poems are carefully structured. Each chapter follows the Hebrew alphabet, 22 letters, forming acrostic laments. Chapter 3 intensifies that structure. There are 3 verses for every letter. It is the longest and most personal of the 5 poems, and it's dominated by suffering and divine discipline. And that is what makes verses 22 and 23 so striking. They're not spoken from comfort. They come from inside devastation. This week, we're not rushing past the pain. We're learning what faithful speech about God sounds like when life has collapsed, when judgment has fallen, when loss is real, and yet God's steadfast love is still confessed. This week's verse is Lamentations 3, verses 22 and 23. Let's read it together. Because of the Lord's great love, we are not consumed, for his compassions never fail. They are new every morning. Great is your faithfulness. I'll see you at the end of the week, where we'll talk about how God spoke to us through this lament.